Hey, everybody. I think we are live. Check 1, 2. Yeah, welcome to the stream. This is the Draw Juice Figure Drawing Timer Tuesdays. All right, so today, welcome, and I'm going to teach you how to train in figure drawing for animation. All right, I'm going to go through a virtual class, how it would be. Now, if you're in any studio working for a game company, movie company, and I worked for many animation studios and game studios, and this is how we train. Also, this is how it's taught in university or in trade school if you're training for animation. Okay. Now, that was in the days of 2D animation. Now it's all 3D, a lot of it, but nevertheless, this is how to get better at figure drawing for animation, and you're interested in movement. You're interested in capturing the action. This is different from figure drawing for fine artists. And a fine artist is going to have pose sessions for 3 hours over 5 days, right? So it could be a 10-hour, 15-hour, 20-hour session where you're doing a complete painting, and that's a different outcome than capturing the action, finding movement, and quick drawing for animation. So two different kinds of training for two different reasons. So let's do some 30-second drawings, then we'll bump it up to 1 minute, then 2 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so these are going to be the 30 seconds, or I'm just going to warm up, just scribble basically, and and forget my ego and trying to make a good drawing for you guys. I don't care about that. I just care about warming up, getting my eyes and my hands coordinated, getting that kind of flow that I need. So let's just do this, and here we go. I think just want to check. Hopefully everything's good. So let's draw. All right, so I just don't care. I don't care. I'm just looking for the flow, like water, like energy through the body. All right, that's 30 seconds. Let's move on. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, this one's goofy. Let's move on to another one. Okay. I want to see if I can capture that one line all the way through that captures that force through the legs, the hips, and into that arm that's delivering that punch. So it's like wisps, it's like smoke. Okay, I'm just gonna keep making these smaller. Okay. And hopefully I'll get better as we go through this. Okay. Start off with the head usually, and then kind of like pull a string down the body. Pull it as far as you can go. All the way down to that supporting foot. Woo! Let's see. I think we already did this one. Okay. Notice how she's leaning back, so I want to capture that support. on that back foot. You can see these cross contours. I think I'm gonna have to get looser, faster, crazier. Whoop. What's happening? When you're drawing like this, don't try to draw good drawings. You know, you might get lucky and happen upon a good drawing, but just go for like the action. Capture that action. Woo. It's really liberating to draw this way. You know, usually when I draw, I want to have a good outcome, and so I stiffen up. And this is the reason why this kind of drawing is so challenging, but so, you know, so liberating and fun. You kind of discover, well, you kind of discover speed. You discover that you can draw a lot of drawings. And you discover it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And that's always a good thing. Feels a little crazy to draw this way. It feels out of control, you know? All right, so let's go out of this and let's bump it up to 1 minute poses, okay? And I'm just gonna throw those drawings away. They're just, did I do that? Okay. Looks like we're going over these drawings the same. Okay, so I think this is 1 minute now, so I still gotta go fast. Don't get caught into details. That's like the worst thing. Now it suddenly feels like I have a lot more time. We've doubled the time only, but okay. Look at this. Start with the head. Look at that nice S curve I can pull all the way down to this supporting foot. If I can, pull that string all the way through, okay? That's one thing I learned in animation, was to find that, to see it, and then to be able to draw it. perfectly fine to have crappy drawings for this. And every once in a while, you'll get a good one, and it'll look super cool, and you can learn a lot from that. Okay. You know, I try to find a C curve or an S curve or a straight. Now, if it's kind of neither here nor there, I'll push it one way or the other, because it gives more dimension and more movement that way. There's her head right there. Don't get caught in the details. Okay. All right, a nice little foreshortened pose here. Things are really stacked up. That knee is like really covering her chest. It's hard to draw this way. You gotta do it a lot to get comfortable. Keep things simple. Okay, ooh. Alright, let's go with this. We got this. This. Maybe something like that. That's what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see it really, really simple. Pick my shapes as though they're kind of, you know, simple but characteristic. So I'm trying to make sense of things a little more because I have a little bit more time, but I still have to go fast. Oh, okay. Oops. All right. This one's really scrunched up. Torso. The hips are kind of behind that. Legs on top of that. Everything's just stacked up. You can barely see that calf. The foot is coming almost right out of the knee. Okay, let's try to get that arm in there. Oh man. Whew. Okay, good one. Remember, you can be just really, you can these drawings, you can just throw them away. They're not precious. Don't worry too much at all. Almost just react, you know, see if you can feel the pose in your body, what it's doing. Don't get hung up on proportion too much. Great pose. This is kind of goofy. All right, let's see here. Really trippy foreshortening here. Helps to draw, like if you see kind of like the underwear, just draw the underwear. And you can define the pelvis and have a place for where the legs come out that makes sense. Okay, we'll do maybe one more of these. This is how we train in class. The poses just go by really fast. But you too gain speed with that. You gain control. You gain a sense of time. What you can accomplish in a certain amount of time. All that's valuable. Definitely if you're a 2D animator, you have to know how fast you can draw, you know, so you can bill appropriately, right? If you take on a project and you don't know, even if you're an illustrator, you don't know how fast you can draw, how long it's going to take you, that can be really tough, right? Let's do another one. All right. Whoa. This one is just so stacked up. Okay, then we got the torso. The head's breaking away. And if you're drawing long poses in a painting class for fine art, you're not going to get this kind of training. You're not going to get these kind of poses. All right, let's stop there. You're not going to get that kind of action, those poses. You're going to get a seated pose because people can't sit for that long, right? So that's what you're going to get, a little more static. All right, let's go up to 2 minutes and let's do this. Okay, 2 minutes. All right, I want to keep the feel, the looseness, right, of what I was doing before with the 30 seconds, 1 minute. I don't want to slow down. So in that first, 15 seconds, I can figure out, what the pose is. Just get it down on the page. Try to keep that part fast. And then you can slow down a little bit once you've captured the action. Now you've got to describe the form in space. Okay. You can use a ball, box, or tube for that. Legs are like a tube, right? So get the tubes in there. Foot's like a triangle. Okay, let's get this leg that's coming toward us. Okay. It's like a typical superhero cover of a comic book magazine. I'm going to push that torso to the left. Using kind of a Riley block-in method with these two triangles in opposition, so I can place the torso and the hips. Then really drawing through like glass, drawing around and through like your figures are made of glass. And that's another way, kind of psychologically, to convey that this thing, the illusion of 3D, okay? Obviously it's not 3D, but when you draw with the idea of drawing that it is, people will pick up on that. Man, these poses, probably have never drawn this pose in my life, ever. Difficult. That foot is right there, right next to her face. Okay. Okay, where's the shoulders? Where's that other arm coming out? Got some comments here. How you guys doing? Let me see if I can just go. Oh my God, this is a disaster. But if I just use some simple concepts like ball, box, and tube, you know, like those little mannequins that you see in the store. All right. What are you guys saying? Let me pause this for a second. When do you draw? Do you focus just on the small area where your pencil tip is working? Or do you try to keep your focus on broader, like the entire working area or screen? Thanks, Viper. That one was tough. Look at that. Okay, so I think the answer to the first question is, you know, I ran into a guitar player in the, I don't know, mid 80s. It was Yngwie Malmsteen, and he came to a club in San Francisco. And after the show, we tracked him down at the Kabuki Hotel. It was a hotel at the time in Japantown. And so I asked him, you know, what was he thinking when he was playing? You know, because he's playing so fast. And he said, I don't think what my fingers are playing in the moment. I think a couple of bars ahead, a few phrases ahead, because if I think of what I'm doing in the moment, it's too fast. My mind can't compute. And so I wouldn't be able to do it literally. It would just freeze up the machinery, right? So you have to think ahead and let your body go on autopilot, is what he was saying, so that his mind was free to create a few bars ahead, and then his body would just follow. So the prime motivator was his mind thinking and telling what his fingers to do. But he'd practiced so much, right, that it was like muscle memory. But you could still have, so you have a structure, but you could be creative within that structure. And the way to do that was to kind of free up your mind from the exact moment and let it create and let your body trail behind. So the answer is, I'm not looking exactly at this cursor where that little circle is and just watching it. That's kind of like a blind contour kind of thing, like a cat watching a string or a pencil line on a piece of paper. They just watch that line and they feel like it's string or something. So I mean, I'm watching kind of a little bit. I'm making this head, but it's really loose. And then I'm kind of moving as I go here to this elbow. I'm already moving down to the abdomen to where the next place I need to go is. So if I'm doing, you know, this, I'm kind of jumping ahead to see this. And then once I've got that, I'm scanning for the next place to go. Right? So, that's a great question, because I don't think I've thought about that for a while. And I may not have thought directly about that or made that connection that I just did with that musician. So there's always, your mind is a little bit ahead, and there's the lag time as your hand produces, you know, what it is that the feedback that your eyes have taken in, and now your body is doing it on the paper, and then you get to see whether that is correct or not. It's like feedback, right? Hit and miss. That's a great question. Thanks for that question. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, you also play guitar. That's great for analogy with Yngwie, right? You know about Yngwie. I jump through the drawing much like you said, but often get caught hyper-focused and lose sight of the whole. Right. So that would be me getting stuck right here where the pectoralis major comes into the bicep, tricep, olecranon, and then flexors, extensors of the forearm, and trying to really get that detail. I would get bogged down. See, detail bogs you down. That's why talking to Ingve, it was like if he concentrated on that flurry of notes that he was playing, he would be bogged down with detail. You don't want to think key signatures, and you don't want to think chord progressions, any of that stuff, because when you play, you just want to play. Jeff Beck said that too. He said, I want to study, understand, but when I go to play, I want to forget everything and just play. Right? So that's sort of like the 1 in 30 seconds, 1s and 2-minute poses help you. They force you to draw it fast. So you have to forget everything. You can't think about everything or you get bogged down. And so that's why it's such a great tool to prevent us from going back into the perfection thing and saying, this drawing has to be great, and if it's not, I suck, and all that kind of crap. We're not trying to do good drawings. We're trying to learn. We're trying to increase our ability to draw fast, our mark making, right? And my accuracy, right? At first it's all wonky, but as I do this over 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, it starts to get better. I start to get faster, right? Same thing with anything else. So let's go to another one here. I seem to be getting kind of like these repeats. Let's try this one. Okay, so let's just say I'm going really fast. I don't care. I'm just having fun, right? I want to capture the action. It looks like crap, but I'm just going to say, I know it looks like crap. Just turn off the ego and just get this little crappy drawing in. It's like a little schematic. Okay, now I can say, all right, I'm going to slow down and I'm going to think about what's going on here. And as long as I keep that block in like light, my first pass is really light, then I can draw over it. These are such funny poses. Okay, so I have this right here. I don't want to think gluteus maximus, quadriceps, all these Latin terms and connections and bones. Don't think that. Just think, capture the action, C curve, S curve, and then how to describe the form in space and use ball, the box, tube to build it, to capture the action, and then you build it. And you build it by drawing over the form. Makes sense, kind of? Let me see this. See, I'm drawing over the form. That bathing suit, that underwear thing describes the form because it follows the contour so good. Okay. Just throwing them away. Don't care. Let's go up to 5 minute now. We'll do one more. Okay. So here's the action line that I see through the whole thing, all the way through, and I get this direction. I don't want to draw it straight up and down. I want to capture this line of action. That's somewhere in the middle. Then I've got this and that. Looks like wisps, right? It looks like wisps because I'm drawing in a way that makes your eye move. Technically speaking, that's how it's done, is with C curves and S curves and little jumps in between. That makes your eye move, like technically. Okay, now I'm gonna describe the form. I'm still don't care about proportion too much. I'm trying, but it might be off. So all right, so there's the tube of the torso. Get the big things in. There's a twist here, so it's a little complicated. That's it. Let's go back and just finish the thought. This is like so Frazetta. You know, Frazetta drew like this. He just captured things, and they had so much movement in them, you know? And then Boris really didn't. His things were like photographic. You know who I'm talking about, right? Frazetta and Boris. And so his things were a little more stiff, but they were beautifully rendered. You know, and you could go back and forth between the two and say which one's better. And I love them. I loved them both. You know, but I think Frazetta had the edge because he was really creative with his stuff. Even though his feet would just blend into the ground, right? They would just be invisible. He didn't draw the feet. But it didn't matter because of the story, because of the drama, because of the anatomy, because of just the colors, you know. All right, so that's that. Let's see. What are you guys talking about here? Exactly. Details get caught up, right? It doesn't relate to the whole really well. Yeah. Thanks for streaming such complex shapes. It makes one wonder at what point in time a student is ready to practice drawing the figure. Just start now. Jump in. Don't know Boris. Okay, look up Boris Vallejo. Vallejo, Boris, and Frazetta, right? Those were the two guys. Okay, so we're gonna go to some 5 minutes now. This is gonna seem like a luxury here. I'm getting... Is this... All right. See the tilt of the head, right? It's hard to see this stuff, but because when it's all stacked up. But I know there's a torso here. I can use an egg for that. For the pelvis, I can use like a bucket, you know, like a bucket shape. Yeah, if you try to get too literal with it, you can just kill it, you know? It might look great. It might look well rendered and lit, but it's gonna look stiff. You know what I'm talking about. We've all done drawings like that. And we don't want drawings to look like that. I mean, I want mine to look like it's moving. And so, gosh, when I first got into animation and I saw how those guys were drawing in the studio, it was like the drawings were they were moving. They were about to go somewhere, do something. And I was like, I want that so bad, you know? And I didn't know how to do it because I was rendering everything and stiff. Eventually you break out of that, but you got to take some risks, right? And draw a bunch of crappy drawings like this over and over again. Until the secrets start to come out. They're not that hard, right? It's just, I've already told you what it is. Now you just got to do it in the right order. You know, there's no real rules, but these things just help. These tools just help. You know, look at the Glenn Villepeu stuff. He's the master, Glenn Villepeu. All right, how am I going to get this right? I've got this tube connects to this tube up here, which is the quadricep. I'm going to connect them, or maybe not, depending on the time, with a box, like a wedge. So once you capture the action, describe the main forms in space, then you got to connect them. And it's how they connect that really sells it too. So each thing in time, you know, in relationship to one another. How are we at? Where are we at here? 118. See, I got time. All right, wrap around. Let's see if I can get that arm. It's like this. Okay, let's make it a tube first. It's kind of a thick here to thin. And then there's another tube that's kind of like that, and another one. And then the wrist. Okay. And how they connect. Then I can come in and do bicep, tricep, deltoid type stuff. And then maybe put a sense of the lighting on it. Okay. This one's goofy. Some of these things are a little funny. All right, let's try this. All right, so I got this way, this way. See that little triangle shape in there between the legs? So I can use the negative space to draw as well. And I do use that as much as I can. Use everything, positive and negative space. This thing, just one C curve into the hand. All right, so then the head's like that. So it's kind of the head's this way, the body's that way, legs this way. It's just the body is in opposing positions. That's contrapostal, means opposing positions, literally. So if you look for those, you know, the shoulders this way, the hips kind of that way, look for those major things. Right, if I just do this, if I just describe the forms in space like this, okay, it's already there. Isn't that amazing? So you don't need much. And that's what's so cool. Oops. See that? So I'm not, you know, these drawings at this stage is not very committed. I can change anything on the fly because they're just lightly drawn. I can amend them easily and then, you know, go on my way, right? If I get it, I move on. If I don't, I fix it. Don't be too hard on yourself. Right, on the next way through, so the workflow is, you know, sketchy and then you clean it up. So I'm going through the drawing again once I get things established. Like, let me get this arm here. And then if I like everything, I can just go in and start to solidify those choices. Let's get this. Okay, so there's that. Now if I'm done, if the time runs out, I'm good. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It looks like Frazetta. It looks like movement. And I can, you know, I can give myself the positive feedback I need. Like, dude, that's awesome. Keep going. You're really great. You know, don't forget to tell yourself and encourage yourself. You need to be your own advocate in this because it's not easy to do this, right? It's easy to feel embarrassed, like, oh my God, this drawing sucks. But of course, everybody's drawing sucks and then they get better, but you have to encourage yourself through the process. Okay, so then once that's, you know, now I can do my more anatomical stuff. You know, I can make my overlaps. I can make brachioradialis go over the bicep and how that connects into pectoralis and into deltoid. And maybe I can get that, you know, if I turn on the texture. Oops, I think time's gonna run out. But I can put some sense of the lighting on here, right? Okay. This one again. I was hoping it would mix up the drawings, but it's sort of not mixing them up. Let's try this one. This one's weird. Let me check the chat for a second here. Let's see, traditional medium guy. Suffer with digital. Say thanks. Quick brush tutorial did her hands video. Yeah, we just did a hands challenge, 100 hands. Get you a little closer to traditional medium. Cave girl from what's that? Cave girl from Pelicidar. Boris work is great. Yeah. Can you guys hear my voice pretty good? Yeah, just let me know like where you guys, what you can hear, if you can hear me, see me, and let me know where you're from too. Okay, this one I'm already behind. I'm just gonna scribble it in and see. Take some chances. So it depends, you know, what you're doing with the drawing, how long the drawing is, and what, you know, that determines kind of what you can expect from your drawing, right? If you're doing these quick drawings, don't expect them to look great. Expect to just gain pencil mileage, get experience kind of going fast and feeling a little bit out of control. But eventually you start making marks that are just good and descriptive marks. They're not fast. You're just drawing fast because you're making good, thoughtful decisions. And you just get better at that. Trying to get that roundness, fullness of the rib cage in there. Sometimes if you do too much anatomy, it doesn't work, right? Sometimes literal doesn't work. You have to kind of conceptualize things and find the simplest statement. That often works best. Okay, let's see. What's going on? Am I in the wrong layer? Okay. Okay. Oops. Okay. Technical difficulties. Where was I? I think I'm going to turn off that texture thing. Okay, let's see. So that arm is kind of like, it's like a S curve to me. You know, I'm not drawing it literally. I'm trying to just get the feel for it. The placement, you know. Okay, there's a neck in there. Fits up against the jaw. Shoulder. And this one is like, whoa. But if I think about it like a tube, once I get the gesture on, then I can kind of think about it like maybe some tubes that work together and how they connect. Right? So I kind of make my way through it. I think my way through it. Okay. What's up? Huh. at? How long have I been doing this? Yeah, drawing with cylinders really helps. Absolutely. You know, I generally start with the head and then move my way down. But then sometimes my feet go off the page, you know, because my tendency is to make things too long. Okay, so let's see. There's this. So I kind of see like a nice curve all the way like that. I don't know if that's going to work, but that's kind of how it felt to me. So there, that feels good, kind of looks good, I think. It's going to be okay. The head is here. Center line. Okay. I don't really have time for the head, you know, it's more like a body. This is like a body thing. Okay, so now I'm going to describe the form. Right, get that first tube on there, which is the rib cage, and then how it fits into the second bucket. Into another tube, into this tube. I haven't put the anatomy on yet, you know? That's why it looks a little tubey. Okay, so there's that. Okay. Let's see, it gets a little complex right up there, huh? With all these muscles. I'm being really graphic, like these little shapes that I'm drawing, they're like hieroglyphs. You know, they're partial drawings that get the feeling, and they sort of space and place all the elements, and then you can build on those. You know, another way to think of the figure is like smoke. If you look at cigarette smoke, how it wisps and twirls like a waterfall as well. Look for those things in the figure. It's quite able to be twisted into many shapes and spring into action. You know, it's like kinetic energy, potential energy just waiting to be unleashed, you know? Okay, building a little bit of anatomy on here. And there's the bell. Okay. Wish I had more time on that. So where are we at here? What time is it? Okay, let's do like, let's see, 442. So maybe we'll just call it. Maybe that's it. That was absolutely fun to hang out with you guys on this Timer Tuesday. I'm going to start doing these, and you're welcome to join in. I go live every Wednesday night for my portrait drawing tutorials and critiques of my student work and stuff. So make sure to come by there and have some fun with everybody as we grow together and learn, right? All right, everybody. Awesome. I'm going to say so long, and we'll see you next time, next Tuesday. Ciao.